Everyone thinks they need to drop $500 at some fancy outdoor gear store to prepare for a blackout. They fill their carts with expensive tactical flashlights, premium water filtration systems, and survival kits that cost more than a week's worth of groceries. But here's what nobody tells you. The difference between having a functional blackout kit and not having one has almost nothing to do with how much money you spend. I'm going to be straight with you. Item number 8 on this list is so overlooked that even experienced preppers walk right past it every time they go to the dollar store. And it might be the most versatile thing you can own when the power goes out. I'm Zach, and I've been testing survival gear and prepping strategies since 2012. Over the years, I've learned something that completely shifted how I prepare. The most prepared people I know aren't the ones with maxed out credit cards. They're the ones who understand that smart, strategic shopping beats expensive gear every single time. They hit the dollar store, walk those aisles like they're on a mission, and walk out with a fully functional blackout kit for the price of a pizza. Today, I'm breaking down the 11 survival items at the dollar store that are absolutely worth buying for a blackout. These aren't the flashy items you see online. These are the quiet essentials that keep your family safe, comfortable, and functional when the grid goes down. And the best part? You're going to spend less than $15 for all 11 of them. Before we dive into this list, I know how overwhelming preparedness can feel, especially when you're trying to figure out what to prioritize on a limited budget. I put together a completely free guide that walks you through exactly what I wish I'd had when I started prepping. It's called the Complete Dollar Store Blackout Kit Checklist, and it reveals how to turn just $20 into a fully stocked blackout survival kit that'll last your family through 72 hours without power. This isn't some theoretical list. It's the exact shopping list organized by category: light, heat, sanitation, first aid, and food. It includes quantity recommendations for families of different sizes, storage solutions you can hide anywhere in your home or apartment, and a priority order for when you're building your kit week by week with limited funds. The guide also includes a backup sources checklist, so if your primary light source fails, you already know exactly what you have, where it is, and how to use it. It's all yours, completely free. I'll drop the link in the description and pin it in the comments. Just let me know where to send it, and it's yours. All right, let's get into these 11 items that are genuinely worth your dollar store shopping trip. Item 1. Flashlights with batteries. Here's something most people get wrong about flashlights. They think they need some tactical military-grade flashlight with 5,000 lumens and a battery that lasts 6 months. But here's the truth. In a blackout, the person with 5 different basic flashlights scattered around their home is better prepared than the person with one expensive flashlight they can't find in the dark. Dollar store flashlights work. They're not going to win any tactical reviews, but they do what they're designed to do. They put light where you need it. The batteries are included, they cost $1, and you can afford to buy 10 of them without breaking your budget. This means you can station flashlights in different rooms: your kitchen, your bedroom, your basement, your bathroom. When the power goes out, you're not scrambling through the dark looking for your one good flashlight. I learned this during a 2-day power outage in 2019. I had splurged on this expensive flashlight I kept in my emergency kit in the garage. Guess where I was when the power went out? In my bedroom. And guess where my flashlight was? Wrong place at the wrong time. I ended up using the cheap dollar store flashlight my wife had grabbed as a joke for our kids' camping trip. It worked perfectly. Since then, I've placed basic flashlights in 6 different locations around my house. Cost me $6 total. Here's what to do. Buy multiple flashlights. One for each bedroom, one for the kitchen, one for the bathroom. Keep extra batteries on hand. The beauty of having multiple cheap flashlights instead of one expensive one is that if one dies, you've got backups everywhere. You're not dependent on a single point of failure. Dollar store flashlights give you redundancy, and redundancy saves you in a crisis. Item 2. Candles and matches. Now, candles seem obvious, but most people don't understand the real value here. A dollar store candle isn't just about light. It's about sustained heat, psychological comfort, and having a backup when your flashlight batteries run out. Most dollar stores carry 2 types of candles worth buying.
The first is emergency candles, big, thick candles designed to burn for 80 hours or more They cost about $1 each. The second is just regular tea light candles, which come in packs of 20 or 30 for $1. Yes, you read that right. You can get a month's worth of backup light for $1. But here's where item 2 gets interesting. Matches. Specifically, the standard strike-on box matches. You can buy a box of 300 matches for $1. 300! Let that sink in. 300 ways to create fire for less than the price of a coffee. I tested this during an extended camping trip in 2021. I deliberately used only dollar store matches and candles for an entire weekend. I burned through about 12 matches to light fires, cook food, and maintain light. At that rate, my 300 matches represent months' worth of fire-starting capability. The psychological boost alone, knowing you have multiple ways to create fire, changes how you feel during a blackout. It shifts you from feeling helpless to feeling prepared. The practical application is straightforward. Buy at least 5 emergency candles and several packs of tea lights. Buy 2 boxes of matches and store them in waterproof containers. Place candles throughout your home in safe locations, never in bedrooms where they could be a fire hazard, but in living areas, kitchens, and basements. When the power goes out, you have sustained light, heat, and the ability to start a fire if needed, all for about $5. Item 3. Heavy-duty trash bags. This is the item I mentioned that most preppers overlook, and it costs $1 for a box of 30. Heavy-duty trash bags are the most versatile survival item that nobody talks about. When the grid goes down and the plumbing stops working, trash bags become essential. You'll need them to line your emergency toilet, which, by the way, is a bucket with a lid and a trash bag inside. That's 1 bag per day minimum, potentially 2 for a family. If a blackout lasts 5 days, you need 10 to 15 bags just for sanitation. But that's just the beginning. Trash bags work as waterproof tarps to protect supplies. They work as emergency ponchos if it rains and you need to go outside. They work as barriers to seal windows if you need to preserve heat. They work to collect rainwater if your water gets contaminated. They work as containment for anything wet or dirty. They work as burial shrouds for organic waste you can't dispose of normally. I discovered the real power of trash bags during a 3-day ice storm in 2018 that knocked out power across my entire neighborhood. My neighbor had plumbing issues from the backup, and I brought him a pack of trash bags I'd stockpiled. He lined buckets, used them as waterproofing for his supply area, and created tarps from them. He later told me those bags saved him more than anything else he had. $1 worth of trash bags solved multiple problems. Here's what to buy. Get at least 2 boxes of heavy-duty trash bags, 30 bags per box minimum. That's 60 bags for about $2. Store them in a dry location. They take up almost no space. During a blackout, you'll find uses for them you never anticipated. They're the ultimate multi-tool of emergency preparedness. Item 4. Water storage bottles. Water is item 3 from our first template, but here I'm getting specific about the dollar store option. You need to store water. You need to store a lot of it, and dollar stores sell plastic bottles for $1 each. Most people know they need water, but most people don't store nearly enough. Remember the principle we talked about in the first template? 1 gallon per person per day for survival, 2 to 3 gallons for basic living. A family of 4 needs 8 to 12 gallons per day. For a 3-day blackout, that's 24 to 36 gallons minimum. That sounds overwhelming until you realize dollar stores sell water bottles ranging from 16 ounces to 2 liters. You can buy a 2-liter bottle for $1. 1 2-liter bottle. 10 of them represents 5 gallons. You can build a 3-day water reserve for your entire family for $10. $10. But here's the thing most people miss. Don't just store water sitting still. Use and rotate it. Buy a bottle of water when you go to the dollar store, drink it over the next few weeks, buy another one. Keep rotating. This way your stored water never sits stagnant. It stays fresh, and you're constantly topping up your reserve. I implemented a rotation system in my household in 2020. Every time I go to the grocery store, I grab 5 bottles of water from the dollar store. We drink them. By the time we finish them, I've bought 5 more. That simple rotation means my family always has a 2-week supply of fresh water on hand at any given time. Cost per month? About $5 in water I would have bought anyway.
Here's the application. Start small. Buy 5 water bottles this week. Drink them. Buy 5 more. Build it gradually. Don't try to stockpile 50 gallons at once. Gradual, rotating storage is sustainable and costs less because it aligns with your normal consumption. Item 5. First aid supplies. Here's what most people don't realize about dollar stores and first aid. They have better inventory than you think. Bandages, gauze, antibacterial ointment, pain relievers, medical tape, it's all there, and it's affordable. A comprehensive first aid kit at a pharmacy can cost $30 to $50. At the dollar store, you can build a basic first aid kit for $5. Not because the supplies are bad quality, they're not. They're functional and effective. You're just skipping the markup. The principle here is redundancy again. You don't need one first aid kit. You need multiple access points. One in your kitchen, one in your bathroom, one in your bedroom, one in your car. When someone gets injured during a blackout, you're not running through your house looking for the first aid supplies. They're right there where the injury happened. I tested this principle in a real scenario in 2022. My son cut his hand cooking over the camp stove during a test blackout I was running. If our first aid supplies had been centralized in one location, I would have had to leave him and run to get them. Instead, I had a complete first aid kit right in the kitchen. Minor cut, basic cleaning, bandage applied, problem solved in 60 seconds because I'd invested $10 across multiple locations. What to buy? Bandages of various sizes, antibacterial ointment, pain relievers, medical tape, gauze, and elastic bandages. $1 each for most items. Buy 5 or 6 items and distribute them. You'll have multiple first aid kits throughout your home for less money than one premium kit. Item 6. Duct tape. I'm not going to spend much time on duct tape because you already know it's useful. But here's what you might not know. Dollar store duct tape is legitimately good, and it's $1 for a full roll. Some people think dollar store duct tape is low quality. It's not. It's a roll of duct tape. The material is the same. You're paying the same price as you would at a big box store, just without the 40% markup. But the real principle here is practical redundancy. You don't need one roll of duct tape in your emergency kit. You need multiple locations of duct tape. One roll for your car, one roll in your home emergency kit, one roll in your basement near tools, one roll in your bug-out bag if you have one. Duct tape fixes tears. It secures items together. It patches holes. It creates a temporary seal. In a blackout situation, you might need to patch a window. You might need to seal a container. You might need to repair something critical. Duct tape is there. I've personally used duct tape during blackouts for sealing a cracked basement window that was letting in cold air, securing a tarp over supplies, and even creating a temporary container seal. Each time, I had duct tape exactly where I needed it because I'd placed rolls strategically. What to buy? Get at least 3 rolls of duct tape from the dollar store. That's $3. Distribute them. One in every emergency supply location in your home. Item 7. Non-perishable canned food. Dollar stores have canned food, and it's actually cheaper than regular grocery stores for many items. Canned vegetables, canned meat, canned beans, ready-to-eat soups. All there. All $1 to $2 per can. Most people don't realize that during a blackout, you need food that doesn't require cooking or refrigeration. Canned food hits both requirements. It's shelf-stable and ready to eat. Here's the principle most people miss. During a blackout, you're going to be stressed, possibly physically active, and definitely burning more calories than normal. Food isn't just sustenance. It's morale. It's energy. It's the difference between maintaining hope and feeling desperate. But you don't need gourmet prepper food. You need calories. You need nutrition. Dollar store canned goods provide both. Vienna sausages, canned chicken, canned tuna, canned beans. They're packed with protein and calories. Add canned vegetables for nutrition. Add a can of beans for fiber. You've got a balanced emergency meal for $2 to $3. I tested this in 2021 during an extended power outage scenario I ran at my home. I lived for 72 hours on dollar store canned goods only. For that 3-day period, I ate a combination of canned meats, canned vegetables, and canned soups. Cost per day? About $5. I never felt deprived. I felt prepared. What to buy? Start with a 3-day supply. That's about 9 meals. Buy 3 cans per meal for variety. Total cost? About $20 for a full 3-day reserve. Then build from there.
Add more gradually until you have a 2-week supply. Item 8. Plastic containers and Ziploc bags. This is the item that most preppers overlook. I mentioned it in the introduction, and here's why it matters so much. Ziploc bags and plastic containers from the dollar store are one of the most underrated survival items. They're cheap, bags especially. You can get a huge box of Ziploc bags for $1, dozens of bags. During a blackout, you need containment. You need to organize supplies. You need to protect items from moisture. You need to ration food into portions. Ziploc bags solve all of these problems, and they cost almost nothing. But here's what makes this truly valuable. In a crisis situation, organization is survival. If you can't find what you need quickly, you waste time and energy. Ziploc bags let you organize by category. First aid supplies in one bag, food in another, batteries in another, tools in another. When you need something during a blackout, you don't search your entire emergency kit. You grab the bag it's organized in. I discovered this principle during a hurricane evacuation in 2019. I'd thrown emergency supplies into a backpack haphazardly. When we got to my brother's house and I needed specific items, I spent 15 minutes digging through the bag. After we got home, I reorganized everything into Ziploc bags by function. Everything labeled, color-coded. Now when I grab my emergency kit, I can find anything in under 30 seconds. Plastic storage containers work similarly for bigger items. Dollar store containers hold water, food, first aid supplies, or any other items. They're stackable, they're water-resistant, and they cost $1 to $2 each. What to buy? Get 5 boxes of Ziploc bags in various sizes. Get 2 or 3 storage containers. That's about $5 total. Use them to organize all your other supplies by category. Item 8 transforms your emergency supplies from a disorganized pile into a functional system where you can find what you need in seconds. Item 9. Hand sanitizer and soap. Here's something that took me years to fully understand. When the grid goes down, staying healthy becomes critical. One infection during a blackout can become life-threatening if you can't access medical care. Dollar stores sell hand sanitizer and soap, and they're inexpensive. Small hand sanitizer bottles are $1. Soap is $1. Basic stuff, but critical stuff. The principle here connects to what we discussed earlier about making intentional choices under stress. When water stops flowing, you can't wash your hands under running water. But you can't not wash your hands either. Sanitation prevents illness. Illness during a blackout can kill you. I tested this during an extended camping trip where I deliberately simulated zero access to running water. I used hand sanitizer after handling raw food. I used basic soap and water from my storage to wash my hands before eating. The mental shift was immediate. I felt safer knowing that I was maintaining basic hygiene standards despite having no plumbing access. What to buy? Get at least 2 small bottles of hand sanitizer. Get at least 2 bars of soap. That's about $4. Use them to organize all your other supplies by category. Item number 10. Pain relievers. I'm talking about ibuprofen and acetaminophen. Dollar stores stock them, and they cost about $1 for a bottle. Here's what most preppers don't consider. During a blackout, people get injured. People get headaches from stress. People experience fever from illness. Without access to pharmacy stores, pain relievers become medication that can't be replaced. But there's a deeper principle here that ties into everything we've discussed. Pain relief isn't just comfort, it's morale. It's the difference between someone maintaining hope and someone spiraling into despair. A headache from stress becomes tolerable with pain relief. A fever becomes manageable. An injury becomes bearable. I learned this principle during a 3-day power outage in 2020 where I had to help coordinate supplies for my neighborhood. One neighbor developed a severe headache from stress. I had ibuprofen. That one pill changed her entire mood. She went from increasingly anxious to calm and capable. $1 pain reliever made that difference. What to buy? Get at least 2 bottles of ibuprofen and 2 bottles of acetaminophen. That's about $4. Keep them with your emergency supplies. Include them in multiple locations if you have multiple emergency kits. Item 11. Bleach for water purification. This is the final item, and it's absolutely critical. Dollar stores sell large bottles of bleach, 96 ounces, for about $1. Bleach has 2 functions in a blackout. First, it sanitizes surfaces. When plumbing stops working, bleach prevents bacterial growth and disease spread.
Second, and more importantly, it purifies water. 3 drops of unscented bleach in 1 liter of water makes it safe to drink. This connects directly to our core principle from the beginning. Water is your first, second, and third priority. You can store water, but stored water can become contaminated. You might need to use found water from streams, ponds, or even a swimming pool in an extreme scenario. Bleach makes that water safe. But here's what makes bleach truly valuable. It's multi-purpose. 1 bottle solves multiple problems. You can use it for sanitation, for water purification, for disinfecting surfaces if anyone gets sick. It's the definition of efficiency in an emergency. I tested water purification with bleach during a camping trip where I deliberately used found water sources. I collected water from a stream, added 3 drops of bleach per liter, waited 30 minutes, and drank it. No issues, no illness. Bleach worked exactly as advertised. What to buy? Get 1 large bottle of unscented bleach, $1. Keep it stored safely with your emergency supplies. Know the ratio, 3 drops per liter before you need it. You won't need to use it most of the time, but when you do, you'll be grateful it was there. Item 11 ensures that even if your primary water sources fail, you can still find and purify water to stay alive. There you have it. 11 survival items from the dollar store that genuinely matter when the power goes out. Let me recap them quickly. Item 1. Flashlights with batteries. Multiple cheap flashlights beat 1 expensive flashlight. Item 2. Candles and matches. Sustained light and the ability to create fire. Item 3. Heavy-duty trash bags. The most versatile item nobody talks about. Item 4. Water storage bottles. Building a rotating supply seamlessly into your daily life. Item 5. First aid supplies, distributed across multiple locations in your home. Item 6. Duct tape, the ability to repair when replacement isn't an option. Item 7. Non-perishable canned food, maintaining morale and energy when the grid fails. Item 8. Plastic containers and Ziploc bags, organization that turns chaos into function. Item 9. Hand sanitizer and soap, preventing infection when plumbing stops working. Item 10. Pain relievers, managing physical discomfort to maintain mental resilience. And item 11. Bleach for water purification, the difference between finding water and having safe water. Total cost for all 11 items? Somewhere between $15 and $20 depending on your local dollar store prices. That's a complete, functional blackout kit for your entire family. These aren't flashy items. They're not tactical. They're not going to impress anyone. But they're real. They're based on actual blackout scenarios. They solve problems that emerge again and again when the power fails. If you grab that free guide I mentioned, the complete dollar store blackout kit checklist, you now have the shopping list, quantities, and storage strategies to build a complete 3-day kit. The link is in the description and pinned in the comments. It's completely free. If this video gave you value, do me a favor and hit that like button. Drop a comment and let me know which of these 11 items surprises you most, or if there's an item you think should be on this list that I didn't cover. And obviously, subscribe to Zach of All Trades if you want more practical, no-bull-nonsense preparedness content that cuts through the hype and gives you real strategies that don't require you to spend money you don't have. Remember, preparedness isn't about being rich. It's about being smart. It's about understanding that the dollar store is a prepper's treasure chest if you know what to look for. It's about taking small steps with limited resources and building real, functional safety for you and the people you care about. These 11 items are your foundation. Start with them. Build from there. And most importantly, start today. Don't wait for a disaster to realize you should have prepared. The best time to prepare was yesterday. The second best time is right now. Stay prepared, stay smart, and I'll see you in the next one.